Here we are back in remote learning. So we looked at simultaneous equations in the previous lesson, but this was just, you're given X and you're given Y and you have to solve it. This is worded problems. So these are probably worth a lot more marks and probably a little bit more tricky. Let's look at a really horrible example. So you can pay your gas bills in two different ways. A, $25 per quarter, 50 cents per unit of gas. So less per quarter, but more for each gas you use. And B, $50 per quarter, 25 cents per unit of gas. So bigger per quarter, but less for the amount of gas you use. Determine the number of units that must be used before B becomes cheaper than A. So think about it. If you don't use any gas here, you're going to pay $50. Here, you're going to pay $25. So B is initially going to be much more expensive, isn't it? But if you use more gas, A is going to become cheaper. They want you to find out when that happens. And that's what you would do in a household. If you're living on your own, you're going to use less gas. Or if you've got 3 kids plus gran living at the house, you're going to use more gas, aren't you? So families will actually use something like this to work out the best way to do things. They set up the equation. So you might use completely different letters to this. So that's C. C1 is the charge in dollars of using method A. So they've decided to do it in dollars. You could have done it in cents. And C2, charge in dollars of using method B. And they decided to use X for the number of units of gas used. So the cost for method A, so cost 1 is $25 per quarter plus 0.5x, because they've said in dollars. So 50 cents, 0.5. C2, 50 plus 0.25x. You probably got yourself some marks now because you've set up your equations. So now we're going to graph 2 lines and find the point of intersection. So there's one way of doing it, drawing a graph. So there's the 2 graphs, and from the graph we can see that they cross when the number of units is 100 and when the cost is $75. So if you use more than 100 units, you're better off using C2, cost 2, which is method B. So if we wanted to solve it algebraically, it's when the 2 costs equal each other. So we put the 2 costs equal to each other, solve it, and we get X equals 100. Now, drawing these graphs is a pain. I know it's a pain. So I had to go at doing it on my graphics calculator. So first thing, so I've typed in here, as you can see, I've typed in F1 and I've typed in F2, but I'm not seeing any graph. I'm not seeing anything. So I'm thinking, oh, I haven't done it right. So basically what it does, you can see this goes from -10 to 10 and from -6 to 6. So basically, I'm just seeing that tiny bit there of the graph. So I can't do it. I can't see anything. So I did zoom fit. So I did menu, zoom, fit. And basically what happens then is the calculator tries to guess where the graphs are going to be. So it's definitely found both graphs, isn't it? So I can definitely see the 2 graphs. And I think my calculator has decided to do completely the opposite colors to this one, I think. So don't stress about that. So now I can see that I'm now sort of, mine still goes from -10 to 10. So it's only showing that tiny bit there, and it goes from 16 to 55. So I'm just seeing that little bit there of the graph. So I'm going to go from 0 to 150 on the X and 0 to 100 on the Y. And you're just going to have to play around with that, because I know that I need to go from 0 to 150 because I can see it on this graph, can't I? And I know that I need to go from 0 to 100, but normally I wouldn't. So I would have to try, okay, these graphs are going to meet somewhere up there, aren't they? So I know I'm going to need to increase this. So you would just keep playing around. So you would go menu, zoom, and you would go to the actual window settings. So you can actually change the different values. You can actually type them in. So there we are. I've got the graph, and it kind of looks like this. Again, like I mentioned, the red and the blue are the other way around. Sorry about that. And I mean, I can't really see my numbers, but what I can do is I can go to menu and I can find the intercept. So I can actually go and find the intercept. So if you don't know how to do that, come on to when you're on the Google Meet, I'll show you how to do it. Otherwise, I think a lot of you already know how to do that. So there's where my 175, so the point 175 comes from. Of course, you can also just because we don't always need the graph, and you can just whack it into your calculator. So I've just solved these two equations. Solve that, and it gives me x is 100, c equals 75. So there are so many different ways that you can solve this. So sometimes that's annoying, isn't it, when there's more than one way? Just tell me one way to do it. That's what some people say. All right. 3 kilograms of jam and 2 kilograms of butter cost $29. 6 kilograms of jam and 3 kilograms of butter cost $54. Find the cost of 1 kilogram of jam and 1 kilogram of butter. Now, when you get a question like this, you're thinking, okay, well, I've got two situations. I've got this situation here and this situation here, and I've got two things. I've got jam and butter. So remember we talked about simultaneous, two or more. So when we get that situation, I'm thinking simultaneous equations. So set up the equations. So they've decided to use X and Y. I would probably have used J and B. Much easier for me. So jam is X, butter is Y. 3 kilograms of jam, 3 kilograms of jam. 2 kilograms of butter, 2 kilograms of butter, $29. Similarly, 6, 3 costs 54. Go straight to my graphics calculator now, type it in if I wanted. Or is the manual way of doing it. Got to multiply number 1 by 2 because I've got a 3. Then I can't really do it because I've got a 3 and a 6, a 2 and a 3. So if I double that one, I'll get a 6. I'll get a 6 there, a 4 there, and a 58 there. Then I can take them away. 6 take away 6 is nothing. 3 take away 4 is -1. 54 take away 58 is -4. So I end up with y is 4. Substitute back in gives me x is 7. So use your calculator, should give you the same answer. And just look at your answers. Jam costs $7 a kilo, butter costs $4 a kilo. That's kind of believable. If I've got an answer of like 638, I'm thinking I've done something wrong, haven't I? Or if I get an answer of like 12 cents, I'm probably wrong. So think about your answers. If you get something that doesn't make sense, just do it again and check. Oh, there you go. There it is done on my calculator. Cool. This is question 8 from your textbook, and it's a bit of a pain in the rear end. So I thought I would just look at this one before I let you go and get on with some work. So this is question 8 from the textbook. So herbalist, mixture of 2 herbs. So herbalist is someone who just works, a naturalist or something like that. 2 herbs, A and B. The mixture costs $6 per kilo. Herb A, $5 a kilo. Herb B, $8 a kilo. And there's 60 kilograms of the mixture to be prepared. So that's a lot, isn't it? So they're obviously doing very well their business. How much kilograms of each herb should be used? So don't forget, when you add them together, it should come to 60 kilograms. You can double check your answer. So the first thing is that there are 60 kilograms of the mixture. So A plus B has to be 60. And the next thing we need to know is the total cost of 60 kilograms of the mixture in dollars is $360, isn't it? Because it says there's 60 kilograms and it's $6 per kilogram. So altogether it's going to cost $360. So 5A plus 8B is $360. So this one here is to do with the weight. This one here is to do with the cost. So those are these 2 equations that I'm going to use. And I'm just going to whack it straight into my calculator and solve it that way. Obviously, if it said use the elimination method or use the substitution method. And so I've got 40 kilograms of A, 20 kilograms of B. So I know that they needed to equal $60, didn't I? So again, if you're not sure, don't forget there's the work solutions on Google Classroom. So the work solutions for this maybe are in more detail than this, but I think this, should be able to help you to work out what's going on. So good luck, and Mr. Patch over and out. And I've added another exam, so there's quite a few exam questions there for you to be going on with.